But my best days, the best days of boxing, was uh, when I went into the army, and before I went overseas, I started really coming there. You know what I mean? Well, what happened was I was the light heavyweight of the team in Texas, and he was the heavyweight.
Right.
All right. At first, he wasn't heavyweight because I remember during that time, the army was segregated. You know what I mean? And whites was in a certain section, and we were in a certain section. But on the boxing team, on the various teams, you were all together, even though you stayed separately. You know what I mean?
Right.
It was one team. So at one time, we had a black heavyweight on the team. But this guy came to the post, Steve Jajewski, and he beat everything in sight, every black in sight. So he became the heavyweight of the team. And I was light heavyweight. And he was very arrogant, and he fought a boy named Brown. And this boy Brown had sparred with Joe Louis at one time, And he just beat this boy to the canvas. I mean, beat him down to the canvas, really laid him low. And so people just thought that he was invincible, And he thought. I had occasion to work out with him in the gym, and he would, every day I leave there, my lips is bloody and what have you, where he'd been popping me. But I was popping him too. The gloves were a little heavy, But I was popping him too, And still in all, he was very confident that all the heavyweights he could beat, and the next guy that might be a threat was me, and he knew he could beat me, But here's what happened. People are funny, in power people are funny. And it seems like really a storybook thing, but he had, back then, a convertible car with leopard skin covered in the car, and he'd ride through there with a blonde, you know what I mean, and what have you, and very, very arrogant. So the powers to be wanted to bring him down a peg or two. I got an order in my company to report to headquarters of the whole post. They're over on this side, the whites over on this side, the blacks over on this side, but I got to report to the post. I couldn't imagine what this was about, But I had to report to headquarters. And when I got in there, they had the coach of the boxing team, which was a white individual, and all this brass sitting around this long table. And when I went in there and sat down, they propositioned me and asked me, would I fight this guy? Would I fight Jajewski? And they said, the coach of the boxing team said, well, with your boxing ability, you got a shot at beating him, you know what I mean? And whatever the reason is or whatever I was thinking, I knew I couldn't turn the fight down because I just wasn't going to turn it down. I had worked with him and I knew what I could hit him with, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And back then I was somewhat of a student of the game, and I knew what I could hit him with and what he could, what I could do with him, And I knew that he had underestimated me, But anyway, they told me, the brass to be. I happened to be, among other things, the company clerk. So they told me that I had to send a challenge in the mail through channels. So I had to go back to my company. I had to type up the challenge, had to go through the company, through my battalion, to headquarters, and then down to his battalion. And then they had to send a reply back whether they accept the challenge or not. Mm-hmm. In other words, they wanted to make it a great big thing. Mm-hmm. Okay? So anyway, the challenge was accepted, the fight was set. You know, they even had a new outdoor arena. You know, that a portable outdoor arena. You know, that a ring that they set up in the ballpark. You know, and what happened was, leading up to the fight, you know, a lot of things happened leading up to the fight. You know, my habit was before a fight I would always put on my shoes and stuff, and put my pants over and I go to a movie to relax myself, you know. But this particular day, I played on the basketball team too, and my team was playing, and I almost played the basketball game. But a couple of guys there, they told me, said, nah, don't do this. This fight is just too important, you know. Anyway, that night, it rained, so the fight had to be held inside, you know, with the new portable arena. Well, to make a long story short, I knew that I had made up my mind. I was in good shape. I trained real good. And I said, I knew I could hit him with a left hook. I said, but every time I feel his glove on me, I said, I'm going to shoot my hook. But I'm not going to shoot it one time. I'm going to shoot it 2, 3, 4 times. You know what I mean? And I came very close to knocking him out. Very close to knocking him out. And lo and behold, after that, he was never the same no more.
So it was a decision.
You would think that I was Joe Louis in reincarnation down there. Oh yeah, it became that way. That way, it became that way.
Well, now Joe Louis, you met, he was your idol in the Army, right?
Oh yeah. I had an opportunity to box an exhibition with him, but this guy that Dejewski had knocked out, you know, boxed the exhibition with him because I had to go home on leave. You know, I had to go, my mother got sick, I had to go on emergency leave. And that was a really a grand treat for me, so to speak, to really a grand treat for me, so to speak, to box with Joe Louis, because I know I just thought I would love to box with him anyway. I would have thought the world set in riots around him.
Yeah.
World set right, and but back then I wasn't that easy to hit. You know what I mean? I wasn't that easy to hit. But another individual. You know, I used to work with. I worked with Nino Valdez.
Right.
You heard of Nino Valdez?
No.
Yeah, well, he was became a contender. You know what I mean? He was #1 contender, and he had to go to fight Archie Moore. Archie Moore knocked him out though. Archie Moore beat him twice, I think. And anyway, I worked him for the Archie Moore fight. That's what made me start getting delusion about fighting, because I wasn't working then, and they were supposed to be paying me, you know. These guys would never pay me right, you know, for sparring, you know.
Right.
And Nino, by the way, somebody told me he's Cuban, big, huge dude.
Right.
And he, think had both his legs amputated, is in the hospital now. Somebody told me that. The diabetes. My father introduced me to a man who knew a lot of fighters, and they had a lot of them had heard about me and what have you, and a gentleman named Lou Freeman, and he used to take me to the various fights and what have you, and to dinner and so forth, and then he introduced me to Cus D'Amata, Patterson's trainer. And subsequently I started going down there to the gym to train.
What gym was that?
Gramercy Gym on 14th Street. And along about that, during that time, your mother and I was together, and she used to come down to the gym and watch me train, you know? Like me work with Patterson. And her and Patterson's first wife, Sandra, they used to talk together, you know what I mean? And we'd be working out, you know? But that's when they set up all the scaffolds for me and Patterson to work out. He came out as Olympic champ, you know? And it was very hard to get people down there to work with him because he beat them up so bad. Guys didn't want to work with him, you know? And him and I used to have some good, nice Donnybrooks. They never showed this film, by the way. Never showed it. Never showed it. We had a knockdown drag out. lady was down there, and his lady was down there, and I just couldn't be showed up. It was money, you know? And when we used to work out and have them knock down, drag out barrels, to tell me not to, he didn't like to get hit, you know, and this and that and that, oh, a lot of things like that. You know, it's a dog-eat-dog game, you know what I mean? You didn't make no money back then, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you didn't make no money back then, and unless you got over, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
even the guys that got over, they
made no money. Beans, man, and all of them walking on their heels now.
Right.
When I turned pro, that's when I quit.
Oh, okay. You quit when you turned pro.
Yeah, what happened is they had a little guy that met me in a Bigfoot's restaurant. I used to have a restaurant chain called Bigfoot's. And I had signed for a 6-rounder in Eastern Parkway Arena, that's what it was. And this guy here couldn't hardly talk and go in between representative of me. I said, no, he can't represent me. He can't represent me. I said, rather than that, I quit. And I quit. Oh, no, was that when I got married or prior to me getting married? And when I got married,
right.
I was trying to train and go to school.
Oh, yeah.
No, and then I had to leave that, I had to get a job.
Right.
So I said, well, okay, I got to leave something alone. Boxing was no money coming in at that time because I hadn't turned pro.
Oh, I see.
All right? I hadn't turned pro. So I said, let me go back to school. So I started working and going to school, you know? And I had to cut my last class in school to get to work on time. You understand?
Yeah.
And it was a full day thing, you know, and after a while, a lot of things that happened maybe, again, it's all me, you know what I mean? There was a time that I never drank or smoked or anything, but after a while, I start on my job, the guys would have a little drink and I'd have a little one. And I'd be with friends of the family, we'd go out and they'd have one and all of a sudden I started drinking. I think he's doing all right, you know, I think he did all right.
No.
Because he was making $250,000 when it wasn't fashionable, you know what I mean?
But he invested his money well. He was in a high liver.
I think so. I'm not sure, but I think he did all right, you know?
He kind of like...
I think him and Tony Anthony came over to the school after I had quit. And said, Bernie, come on back, man, and get some of this easy money, man, you know?
Oh, yeah, yeah?
Yeah. Now, Tony is walking around on his heels. I told you before that Coley Wallace was working as a security guard at my door, you know, where I live.
Right.
And he can't hardly talk.
He can't hardly talk, but because of boxing?
He boxing.
Well, people think that, well, then should boxing be banned as a sport? I mean, what do you think of those guys, the pundits that say boxing should be banned as a sport because of that reason?
Well, it's not what
I think that one guy like a Patterson speaks beautifully. He took a lot of punches. Even Joe Frazier, for that matter. Joe Frazier took a lot of punches. Why is it that he doesn't have any problems? Why some fighters do and some fighters don't?
Some do, some don't. So, you know, it's according. When a guy get out, I imagine.
Everybody's got to know when to quit.
God, you know, it's just according. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. But, and then they got guys that fought for so long that they're almost like vegetables. You know? Like Doug, you know? His hand goes like this consistently over
That's
the
what
time.
Ali's got, right?
Yeah. It's just about some of the thing, you know what I mean?
Same thing, right? Parkinson's
Oh,
syndrome?
yeah. As a child, he had it, you know what I mean?
That's a nerve condition. It's a damaged nerve. That's damaged nerves.
Yeah, well, that, you know, a lady once told me, who that's told me that every time you get hit, your brain hit against,
Yeah.
and it said you can only take so much of that. without
Why
getting
does
brain
Foreman
damage.
how come Foreman can go on and be so together?
I guess the individual is built so differently.
He didn't attempt comeback after comeback and whatnot.
Yeah, no, very few fighters, man, that win a lot. A lot of guys, like Rocky Graziano, he took a lot of punches. Jake LaMotta took a lot of punches.
This guy was a bad dude, you know what I mean? He was,
Yeah. Which fight is this?
This is Sandy Sadler, Willie
Which
Pepper.
one?
I don't know.
They had 3 fights.
I don't know which one it is. That's Marciano doing the blow by blow.
Sadler knocked him out in the first one.
Sadler, he was a...
Willie Pepper once fought a fight and won a round and didn't throw a punch. Are you aware of that?
No.
Yeah. He won a round, but he was looking so slick.
Yeah. And you knew Sandy Sadler back in the old days?
Yeah.
You knew him?
His brother and I went to school together.
No kidding.
Yeah. Looking at the whole thing in retrospect, you know what I mean? I made cardinal errors. And if the good Lord is going to give me the strength to partially rectify this, then I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Cost of living's a lot higher too.
When Chevalier fought Doug Jones was beating him. And he stepped on Doug Jones' toe and hit him. Doug Jones couldn't move.
So how would you have fought a guy like Chevalier?
I would have gave him angles, really. Kept a jab in his face constantly.
Ali tried to do that. It didn't seem to work.
But see, you got to remember, Ali did that, but Ali never had a real sharp right hand to stop a dude. Even with the jab, man, you got to drop that right hand over to stop a dude coming at you. You know, you got to stop him in his tracks. It's amazing how, in our amateur career, how him and I just kept missing each other. But then we finally hooked up when I went to Custom Mother's Gym to train. It was inevitable. We just kept missing each other in amateurs. When I fought in the Olympic eliminations, and I went to the 178-pound class, and he went to the 165-pound class. We missed each other there. We missed each other in the Golden Gloves when my mother got sick. And I had to go home on an emergency leave. But I don't know whether that was good or bad, because the guy that sat in my place, he knocked out in 33 seconds of the first round. A friend of mine, Ike Chestnut. You remember Ike Chestnut?
No.
You don't remember Ike Chestnut? Man, Ike Chestnut was like a household name.
What did he do?
He was a lightweight, you know? Yeah, and then he was fighting on those amateur fights they had, and he was in the Golden Gloves. And then he had a fairly good professional career. Him and I used to be roommates in the Army, you know? And he told me, he said, watch his left hook, Bernie, when you fight him, you know? And then my mother got sick, and I had to go home on emergency leave. But you know, working with him every day, I knew every move he was going to make. You know, because he basically telegraphed his move if you were boxing. If you're coming in like Chevalier not telegraphing anything.
Right.
Okay, so it's just force against force. But if you're boxing him, when he's trying to do something, he dips before he throw a punch. If he's going to throw that left hook, he's going to dip. He's not going to throw it without dipping.
I think that it seems to me like that Ali could have learned a lot from these two guys in terms of fighting Frazier. Because Frazier kind of had a little bit of both of them.
Yeah, well, see, Ali was, he always thought that he was better than Frazier. You know what I mean? He thought Frazier was a plotter. You know what I mean? And he thought that with his execution that he could always beat a Frazier. Okay? But then Ali always knew that he was in for a war. He always knew that.
Of course he did.
And he was prepared for it.
I don't think he was prepared for it.
He was always prepared for it. He knew what the war that he was going to be in, but he just perhaps slightly underestimated him. That's what he slightly did.
Slightly?
Yeah, he slightly underestimated him.
Well,
he thought he was going to be in for a battle, but he didn't think it was going to be like it was, or Fraser was going to have to stay in power that he stayed, because nobody never beat up on Fraser. You got to remember.
Bonavita knocked him down.
Right. Bonavita knocked him down twice in the first round, and the next knockdown would have been a stoppage. What we got to understand one thing. Ernie Terrell was always a plotter. The only thing he fought is people coming to him. He had no sense of how to fight Ali, and punches coming at him that fast. He has no sense at all of how to fight Ali. Look at that. Big heavyweight like that. See the guy he throw a jab. Look at, you see how he follow Ali? He turns around and follow him, leading him with the right foot instead of going at him and cutting the ring off with the left foot. Them guys made money I'll never know. So that was a nice left hook to the body, you know? See how Floyd threw the one jab and don't throw the other jabs?
That's it. Oh, that was a great body shot. Right hands on the body shot. Take his toe advantage.
Not going down with one punch. That's how
He's trying to be the man who